Welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I'm going to go over a full edit of a model residency letter of intent document, and what I'm going to do is a critique. So a critique is an analysis or an assessment of something, and I'm trying to save you guys from yourselves. So many people use the UCSF writing a letter of intent model, and it's just ubiquitous. Everybody's using it, and it's going to make your letter unoriginal. So please go to residencyhelp.com. You have a free letter of intent template that I put up there that you can create your own original letter that's going to be in the right order, or it's going to tell you how to do it. If you want help from me, you can find out how to get in touch with me at residencyhelp.com. But I've got the letter of intent template and rubric there, and how to get good recommendations, and then how to reach this podcast. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this letter, and you can see the letter here, and a mistake that people make is they will copy and paste this just as I have done. So they take it, they copy it, they paste it onto their Word document, and then they try to change it around a little bit from the whole letter. But my recommendation is to do this, which is to take out one paragraph at a time, and that's the way that I'm going to present these, is one paragraph at a time. So let's first talk about that first paragraph, and here is the letter. This is an MP4, so if you go to the site you can see what I'm doing, or you can just listen if you're in the car or whatever. And it has 3 sentences, and what I would do actually is break that up even more like this. Okay, so I've taken one paragraph, removed it from the letter, and then I've broken it down into 1, 2, 3. Now again, I recommend using my template where you can create your own original work rather than doing this. But what I'm doing is a critique of the way that they've approached it. Now, UCSF, obviously one of the best schools in the country, so this is a quality letter, but there's always things that someone can improve. So I'm writing to express my interest in applying for the PGY1 pharmacy practice residency at the University of Oregon Hospitals. Okay, so you don't really need to say all that. You can just say, I am interested in the PGY1 pharmacy practice residency at the University of Oregon Hospitals. Okay, you're just expressing your interest. It's a letter of intent. You don't need to say, I'm going to apply. You've applied. Okay. I had the pleasure to meet with your current residents at the ASHP mid-year clinical meeting and with Dr. Dick Grayson and Shiera Sanders Hall to learn more about the residency program. Well, what you're doing is you're being polite, true, but you're using so many words to do it. You can just say, I met your current residents, and then put their names in there. Okay. At the ASHP mid-year clinical meeting, and that's it. Okay, so you're saying I met people and have taken the time to investigate it further. Okay, it says your program offers many experiences that I look for in a PGY1 program, including a wide variety of rotations, teaching, research, community outreach, challenging yet supportive environment to refine my skills as a clinical pharmacist. This is 37 words. It's too long. Okay. So what you can just say is your program offers, and get rid of all of this stuff, and just say teaching, research, community outreach, and a challenging yet supportive environment. That's it. Okay. So now we're at 13 words. What this first sentence is missing, though, and that the letter actually has in the next paragraph, is what you're going to do with this letter. So we're actually going to add that back in, and I'll take this out. Okay, copy and then paste, and put it in here. I firmly believe I have the skills and qualities to be a successful resident of your program, a balance of pharmacy and clinical practice, service, leadership, teaching, and research. Okay, so this is what you're going to do in the letter, but this belongs in the first paragraph, not the second. So what we want to do is also cut this down, and we're going to need to present these in the order that you present them in the letter, and this is not the same order, so we want to make sure that we have it in the proper order. And generally it really depends on where you're applying, whether you're applying to a research hospital and things like that. But what I'm going to do is put it in the most common order, okay, which would be clinical practice, because you are going to be doing work, research, okay, leadership, teaching, and service. This is the most common order. These are the big five, and they did a good job in terms of that. But I don't think that we need to put all of this. Okay, we can just put, I firmly believe I have the skills to be a successful resident at your program, a balance of clinical, okay. And so what we'll do is we'll say, I firmly believe I have the skills to be a successful resident with my experiences in clinical practice, research, leadership, teaching, and service. Okay. So what we're doing is we're setting up the rest of the letter. Okay. And so now we have our first paragraph. I am interested in the PGY1 pharmacy practice residency at the University of Oregon Hospitals. I met your current residents, Dr. Dick Drayson and Dr. Shira Sanders Hall, at the ASHP mid-year clinical meeting. Your program offers teaching, research, community outreach, and a challenging yet supportive environment. Now, the issue here is immediate, that you have put that you're going to talk about these 5 things, but the program offers these 3 things. Okay. So what you want to do is make sure that your order is the same. So it should really be, your program offers research, teaching, and community outreach. Teaching, community outreach in a challenging yet supportive environment. Notice how this teaching agrees with, this research agrees with this order, this teaching is with this order, and this community outreach with this order. Because you're going to mention these as you work on the letter, as you're doing those parts. Okay, so this is the first paragraph. You've expressed your interest. You've met someone there and done further research. You've acknowledged that they have certain specialties, and you're going to talk about how your experience fits those specialties. That's it. Okay, it's now 70 words. And even with taking the sentence from before, so I've converted what was, let's see, 123 words, and I've cut it almost in half and saying the same thing in the right order. Okay, so that's your first paragraph and how I would approach it. In the next episode, I will do the second paragraph, introducing your goals and what you want to do.